Okay, girls, so we're going to do one example. So the example that we're going to do is rolling a dice. So I rewrote here the formula for the probability because I want to clarify something. So the probability of the event is going to be equal to the number of favorable elements in the sample space over the total number of elements in the sample space, or what we talked about, n of the sample space. How many elements are in the sample space, okay? So because you can see that the sample space is quite important, that's what we're going to do first for our example. So what is the sample space? Our sample space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because these are all the possible outcomes that I can get when I'm rolling a dice, okay? What is the size of my sample space? It's 6. Agree? Perfect. So let's look at different probabilities here. So let's start with the first one. So if I'm going to find what is the probability of obtaining a 3, when I roll the dice, what is the probability of me getting a 3? So I look at my sample space and I said, okay, what are my favorable events? How many 3s do I have in here? Only one. Agree? Only one. That's the only number that I can count. So how many do I have? 1 over, what is the size of my sample? 6. So that's the probability of obtaining a 3, 1, 6. If you do this division, 1 divided by 6, you obtain that is going to be 0.16. I think it's 6666666, and it goes forever. If you use your calculator, you'll obtain the same. So if we round that up to 2 decimal places, we obtain that this is going to be equal to 0 and 17 hundredths, and therefore this is equal to 17%. Okay, perfect. So that's the first one. I think in your questions for Jacaranda, they're only asking you to give your probability as a fraction, but it's good that you practice this. So I recommend that you take out your notebook and try to do this as well, because in your test you will be asked to give your answers in fractions and as a percentage. Okay, so second exercise. What is the probability of obtaining a number greater than 2? Greater than 2. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this little chick that I have here, and I'm going to do it with blue this time. Okay, so we look at my sample space. How many numbers do I have here that are greater than 2? So 1, no, and then they're going to count. Do I count 2? No, because it's saying greater than 2. It's not saying greater or equal to 2. It's saying that it's greater than 2, so I only can count 3, 4, 5, and 6. How many do I have? 4. Over, what is the size of my sample space? 6. And if we simplify this fraction, we get that this one is 2/3. And if you divide this, 2 divided by 3, you get that is 0.66666666. So if we round it to the nearest hundredths, we get that this is going to be 0.67 or 67 hundredths. Therefore, this one is 67%. Beautiful. Okay, for our final example here, I'm going to rub this one here. And the final one says, what is the probability of getting an even number? Okay, so we go to our sample space and we have to identify how many numbers here are even. So I have the 2, the 4, and the 6. So I have 3. What is the size of my sample space? 6. As you can see, the size of my sample space is always 6. So all the probabilities are 6, because in this case, I'm talking always about this sample space, okay? And 3 over 6 is the same as a half, which is equal to 5/10, which is equal to 50%. Beautiful. Okay, girls, so this is the examples for 10.4. Go and do your exercises, and if you have any questions, please let me know.